ordered most of the left flank to withdraw.
They would have had a straight shot across this landing zone.
Right to your rear. You'd have been finished.
Well, most likely, we'd have gone down fighting.
In combat, I don't think he had a peer. Tremendous, brave, solid person. No time was he ever overexcited. Never reacted without having good plans, without having an idea of what he was going to do.
As the battle stretched through the afternoon, a UPI reporter named Joe Galloway tried to convince a chopper pilot to set him down at X-ray.
The biggest story in Vietnam was happening 1,500 feet below my feet, and I wanted to be there. Felt it was my job.
Joe would stand up to you and look you in the eye and tell you what he thought. And he carried a rifle, and I like that. So when I heard that Joe Galloway wanted to come in and join us in the fight at X-ray, and I said, okay, if he's that crazy and wants to come in, put him on a helicopter.
When night came and the enemy fire died down, Joe Galloway's chopper landed on the most dangerous terrain in Vietnam.
We jump out, we throw out all the ammo and all the water, and then we duck into the grass, and the birds go out, and we're waiting. And out of the darkness comes this voice. I'll take you to the command post, but watch where you step. There's lots of bodies out here, and they're all American.
But the worst place of all that night was 200 yards out from X-ray, with the survivors of the lost platoon.
I ordered my men to eliminate that platoon, but they met with fierce resistance. I suppose that when they had to choose between life and death, the Americans chose life.
The platoon survivors had dug in. All but 3 of them were wounded, and all the leaders were killed. Now a junior sergeant, Ernie Savage, did the only thing he could. Using a radio taken from a dead officer, he called in artillery fire. Today, Ernie Savage is taking us to the lost platoon's position.
Trăm mét.
Yeah. Our Vietnamese military escort is nervous about live artillery shells still lying around.
How close were you calling the artillery in?
Right here, as close as we could get it. 30 to 40 meters it was falling. That's 105 ammunition was falling that close to us.
You were calling the artillery literally in on your heads.
Well, that's where they were. That's where the enemy was.
Finally, on the morning of the second day, the lost platoon was rescued. The gamble to call in the artillery had paid off, and now the real danger was back in the clearing, where the enemy was breaking through the lines. Hal Moore sent out a distress call, Broken Arrow.
Which meant an American unit in great trouble and about to be overrun. And that code word meant that every available fighter bomber aircraft in South Vietnam had to come to the aid of that unit.
Napalm was on its way in. The only problem, 2 of the planes had the wrong coordinates.
And I looked off to my right, and there were 2 F-100 Super Sabres coming right at us at a height of probably 60 feet.
And I heard the howling. The colonel was really yelling, "Get that SOB off of us. Get him off. Call him off."
I couldn't do anything about these 2 cans that had already been dropped, which dropped right in my command post amongst some of my men.
The heat just sort of shriveled your face. And you can see those men dancing in the flames, and you've just been talking to them.
And someone said, "Get this man's legs." And when I picked him up, the boots and the flesh on his ankle came off in my hands.
And I felt those bones. I still do. It's very hard. It's a very difficult memory.
Moore told the air controller to forget the mistake and keep the air power coming. And now the battle turned in favor of the Americans.
It was like a sea of fire. If you saw the bombing, you would have thought we had all died here. It was devastating. The closer we got, the more of us died.
My command post was not sheltered at all. I had nowhere to hide. So I would just stare up at the sky to see how you did these bombing runs.
Bill Beck was also watching the sky and saw the price one of the U.S. pilots paid to protect the men on the ground.
He came down, and as he was leveling off to go back up, he got shot from underneath and exploded his the napalm or gasoline tank, or maybe fragments from the bomb he dropped came up and hit him because he was that low to the ground, and he exploded. The plane was full of flames, and he went right across the treetops. And I lay there, up there, laying like that. I looked. Right treetop level, I looked him right in the eyes. Went right down there and killed. What a show.
The air assault was too much, and the North Vietnamese finally withdrew from the battlefield. U.S. estimates calculated as many as 1,000 enemy dead.
They left scores of their dead laying around, a very sad sight. Stinking battlefield.
Considering the ferocity of the battle, the U.S. came out well. 79 GIs and airmen killed, 121 wounded. But these were still the worst casualties taken in a single battle since U.S. forces came to Vietnam.
People say, what'd you fight for and everything? Hell, we fought for each other. We fought for survival. I mean, it was for one another. I was trying to save his butt because I knew he's going to save mine, and vice versa. We were a team. We were brothers.
You were the first man of your battalion on the ground. Were you the last man off?
I was the last man to step on a helicopter, yes.
What went through your mind?
I felt guilt that I was still alive.
Guilt. Why?
Well, when your men die and you don't, you feel guilty. You're the leader. That's all I can say.
At American headquarters in Saigon, they felt differently. There, they measured the American dead against the Vietnamese dead and called the battle a great victory. What they didn't know was that the battle was far from over. The North Vietnamese had more surprises waiting in the Drang Valley. And this time, the Americans would not be ready for them.